Hello everyone. I tried to make this video a couple days ago, but I'm going to try to make it again today without as many distractions. And I'm not going to belabor it too much, but my theory is that in the past 4 years, between the 2016 election and the 2020 election, more people that had voted for Trump decided to vote for Biden than the people that voted for Hillary changed sides and voted for Trump. So let's just figure this out. Let's divide this in half. Here's the undecided voters in the middle, people that vote for third parties and whatever they're interested in. I'm just talking about here's 2019. Here's 2016. Now we know that more people were in this camp to begin with. Let's pretend that I've divided them up evenly, which I didn't do. I just eyeballed it. So let's just start with, okay. We'll just make it one more over here. Okay. So let's just talk about the people that voted this way back in 2016. Okay, there were a lot of people that just hated Hillary for who knows what reason. Maybe some reasons were good, maybe some reasons were bad. Maybe they were Democratic Party people that voted Democrat all their life, but they hated Hillary and they thought that this guy, this rich white guy, would do better. You know, he spoke his mind. He seemed to have new ideas. He seemed to know everything. No one knows more about nuclear power than Donald Trump. No one knows more about the military than Donald Trump. No one knows more about the environment than Donald Trump. So here this brilliant man was, and here was Hillary, who didn't say anything like that. She never said, I don't believe that she knew more about anything in the world more than she knew. She was smarter than everyone else. Donald Trump had the biggest words. He had the best people. Everything he was saying was going to be great. And maybe some Democratic-leaning people who didn't like Hillary thought this guy was telling the truth. So maybe a few people that might have been Democratic normally voted for this guy because he was new and different and smarter than everyone else in the entire planet, right? Okay. But we still know at the end of the day, in 2016, more people, millions more, voted over here than voted over here. Now, due to our electoral college system, that didn't make any difference. It often doesn't make any difference, and the loser of the popular vote wins the election and sits down at the Oval Office and he has a bill that's already on his desk and he signs and he's in front of the camera and whatever. So that's how the electoral college screws things up. So anyway, day one of the Trump administration. Let's imagine that this person who voted for Trump listens to Trump's inauguration speech about American carnage and about all this other sort of stuff that doesn't make any sense to him. He teaches logic at a community college. And he's saying, God, did I ever make a mistake? So he's inching These are the people inching away from here, and that might be the thing that just, it doesn't hit him in his brain, it hits him in his heart. He says, this is ridiculous. It's more of his brain that's being hit, but something went wrong. What about the people that worked for that air conditioner company where Trump promised that they'd have jobs for the rest of their lives, or whatever he promised? I don't even remember. Doesn't make any difference. But you know the story. He went to this factory, told everyone to that he'd make sure that their company would be safe from being sent overseas. And within minutes, days, maybe it took a week for that company to close and send all of the jobs to Mexico. These people, there might be 4, there might have been only 1, there might have been thousands of people that work for that company, that specific company, that felt betrayed by this guy. And it hit them in their brain understood it, but it hit them more in their heart. They loved working at this company. They didn't want it to close. Trump promised it wouldn't. And within minutes, days, weeks, whatever, it closed. That would really hurt. Not their brain. Their brain would understand it. But it would hurt them in their gut. So these people already don't like him, feel betrayed by him. So they're moving over here, maybe, or they're down here. This is going to be 2020. They still maybe don't like Hillary, but they really don't like him because of that betrayal. Same thing with Gold Star families. He says something, there's all sorts of Gold Star families who, parents of servicemen or people that are in the military that traditionally vote Republican. But when he says something about the Gold Star family and their son who died for our country, he might have had bone spurs, who knows, but he still went. It's very interesting that bone spurs don't keep people from playing golf, but anyway, bone spurs. There are probably bone spur sufferers in the world that can see through Donald Trump's lie about that would have voted for him until he said that. And they're over here. They voted for Hillary just because of that. So, oops, didn't mean to push you over the side. I wasn't disrespecting you. These are the Gold Star family parents who listened to Donald Trump belittle the sacrifice of their son, one of their sons. It was a particular son of these two people who might have voted for Trump. And these two people heard what Trump said about their son and about them. Let's just put them over here. Because they're not going to want to vote for this asshole again, will they? Because they're pissed off at him. Doesn't that make sense to you? And what about all the other people who have children that have died, or wives or husbands that have died, or parents who have died in battle? It's not just these two people that he's dissing. He's dissing all of them. So they're going over here. What about people in the military? Oh, let's look over here. These are the people that voted for Hillary and didn't vote for Trump. But let's say this was a Gold Star mother and her son had died or daughter had died in conflict. And he said that about these people. And this person said, well, I'm not those people because I'm blonde. My son was blonde, and these people were not blonde. So therefore, I'm just trying to imagine what this person would think. This Canadian penny, how did that get in here? We have to build our wall in Canada. They're sending their pennies over. So this person thought, what would they have to think? What would this person have to think in order to go from here to here? Write your answers below. This Gold Star mother who lost her son or daughter, I can't imagine, I can't think of a logic or a feeling that they would have gotten to change their mind about this man. Okay? And that goes really with everyone in the military. When they have a decorated commanders and officers in the Army and Air Force and Marines and all of these people who have worked for the Trump administration, who left and quit because of the craziness that they saw. Who are you going to believe? The Bone Spur guy or the guy that has the Purple Heart and all the other decorations and has served presidents, both Republican and Democrat, for their entire life? So this soldier who voted for Trump for some reason is seeing a commander, maybe someone he knows, say something. He's moving here too. He's leaving the flock, not because of his brain, but because of something that's in his gut. He feels betrayed by this guy. Any of these people that might have children who are bullied in school, maybe they were Republicans all their life, but saw how Trump, in his speeches to become president in 2016, bullied reporters, bullied his opponents, bullied people that were weaker than him. Maybe they were bullied as a kid. Maybe they have children that are being bullied by little Trumpers in the school, in the neighborhood. And they saw that. They might have been Republicans all their life, but they saw him do that, and they're over here now. They were over here in 2016. Because of that, I think that could have been very likely. I don't have any facts to tell you, alternative or otherwise. But it's just a thought that I have. So they voted Democratic for the first time in their life because of what he did. Now, there are some people that might have been Democratic all their life, voted Democratic, and they might be bullies. And they might say, God, I really, really love the way he bullies people around, makes fun of people. I think it's really, really cool. So I'm going to vote for this guy because he speaks his mind. I like that. So they vote that this is the Democrat that always had been Democrat. He voted for him here. But I don't think someone that voted for Hillary in 2016 would have decided in 2020 to vote for him for that reason. They knew he was a bully before. They see he's a bully now, and they hate bullies, so they're not going to vote for him. Let's just talk about science for a second. Let's talk about windmills. Okay, not everyone likes windmills. People that watch birds don't like them. People that have a beautiful view, don't want them in their backyard. That's understandable. But there might be such a thing as ear cancer. And maybe ear cancer is caused by hearing the sound of a windmill. And maybe this is a ear cancer sufferer who's a Democrat, and maybe he or she heard him say that. Oh my God, I'm glad someone's finally understanding it, and it hits them not in their brain, because if it hit them in their brain, they would know that it's a bunch of crap. But it hit them in their gut, and they're saying, all of my doctors have been telling me my ear cancer is due to X, Y, and Z, but now I know it's due to the sound of windmills. And I drove past a windmill once on my way to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and therefore it must be that. Do you think that this person actually said that? Did that happen? No. They stayed right here, whether they have ear cancer or not. Is there such a thing as ear cancer, even? I would think any scientist that voted for Trump for whatever reason, they might have been Republican all their life. They love taxes. They love, not taxes, I mean, they love the tax plans under Republicans. But I would think every single scientist that voted Republican would be offended to their core by ear cancer. Not ear cancer, cancer caused by the sound of windmills. Not to mention global warming and all the other crap. You know, let's make cars be more polluting than they are for some reason, because it'll be good for America. Why is making a shitty car even shittier supposed to be good for America? It might be good for the gas producers. Maybe this guy owns a gas company, and he's always been Democratic, and he owns a refinery somewhere, and he says, oh my God, that's great, I'm going to vote over here. Maybe. Then there's high-level Republican pundits and newscasters and writers, the George Wills of the world, who, to not vote Republican, they'd rather chew their arm off than have that arm check the Democrat thing. And they said that this guy's awful. He left. He might have left even before, but he certainly left. That's George Will right here. This is George Will. And there's might have been 3 or 4 other ones like that. The Fox News guy, whatever his name is, he's over there now. Because they could see the emperor without his clothes. Women, I don't know why, after the pussy grabbing incident, why any woman would vote for him in 2016. But maybe there are some women out there who like their pussies grabbed. Maybe that's what they live for. Pussy grabment. Maybe they discovered they liked. Maybe they didn't know that they liked their pussies grabbed, and then they got it grabbed and they love it. Maybe someone that voted for Hillary because they like women subsequently got their pussy grabbed and they love it. And they say, oh my God, I've been missing this all my life, and I'm going to go over here. Do you honestly think that these two people thought that? Honestly? No. What about the religious right? Who are, a bunch of them are over here. Some of them some of them were offended to their core by watching the tear gassing of peaceful demonstrators so that Trump could hold up a Bible. Many of them, Pat Robertson was offended by it. Now, did Pat Robertson vote over here? He certainly didn't like this. So he's over in this little pile. These are the people that are moving away from this group. So there's probably a number of ministers that are in this pile, and parishioners, people that believe in Christianity or whatever religion they believe in, and they think that the treatment of the children at the border was bad. And yeah, no, children at the border are being treated badly all the time. What about English teachers in this pile? If they're in this pile to begin with, who voted for him, and then Melania Trump, who people tell me is the most beautiful First Lady of the United States ever. And how could anyone think that Michelle Obama was beautiful? Oh my God. Don't get me started. Anyway, there's teachers here, English teachers. These three Republican English teachers heard Melania Trump saying things like, everyone should be best. Only one person can be best. That's how the word best works. Be best. You could be your best. The best I can do at bowling is getting a score of 102. That's as good as it gets. That's the best I've ever done. That's the best I'll ever be, because I'm a loser when it comes to bowling. I can't get any better. But there's only one best. There's only one best at the top. You can be best in your class, but not everyone can be best. It's not how the word works. So let's have a slogan for Betsy DeVos and her minions to use. And so those English teachers moved over here. They can't believe it. And any graphic designers who saw the logo for that thing, God, how many of those moved over here because of just how ugly that thing looked? And it's not hitting them in the head, it's hitting them in the gut. It's their being is offended by that. Now, okay, we're not voting for how beautiful the First Lady is going to be. That doesn't really enter. It might enter in some people's mind. They don't vote for, the beauty pageant with Melania Trump and Bill Clinton in it, walking down the runway and playing Lady of Spain on their accordion for the talent show. That's, even I would vote for Melania for that. I'm sure she looks better in a swimsuit, to me, a homosexual man, than Bill Clinton does. But the teachers that have taught all their lives and see Betsy DeVos ruin their profession with her ineptitude, they're over here now. How many people, Democratic teachers who voted for Hillary, moved over here because they thought Betsy DeVos was doing a good job? Let's say this is a teacher who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, who teaches elementary school in a big city or a small town, doesn't make any difference where she teaches. What has Betsy DeVos done for her that would make her want to vote for Trump again? Write your answers below. I don't think that there is an answer. So this pile is getting pretty big. Oops, didn't want to push push you back. Didn't mean to do that. They're not undecided. They know they don't want to go this way again. You know, any adult over on this side down here, 2020, would be better than that guy over there. What about this coronavirus thing? Oh, let's just talk about a, stock market. Okay, it went up and up and up and up and up. I know, and you know, well, you don't. Maybe you don't know. Maybe your memory isn't good enough. But we know that the stocks go up and down like the temperature, based on whims and who knows what. A butterfly fluttering its little wings somewhere will cause a tornado in Texas 2 years later. I know things like that happen, but over the long period, stocks might have gone up, but they were going up during Obama, and things that Obama did are still rippling 2 years later, 4 years later, 8 years later, 10 years later. So the fact that it went up might be due to something that Trump did with his tax breaks for the billionaires of the world. And their stocks went up and they're happy. They want to stay here. But what about the people over here that don't have stocks? That don't care about the stock market? That's not what they care about. They care about food on the table and their children being educated well and not breathing polluted air by these new cars that are now being able to be built so that they can choke us all to death. They don't have stocks. Maybe they have stocks, but that's not as important as this other stuff to them. Okay, then we've got the China virus, the coronavirus, so when the coronavirus was understood by health officials back in the early days, Democratic leaders were telling people that this is serious and wear masks and practice social distancing and all that kind of stuff. And what were these people doing? Ignoring it or saying it's a hoax that they started. So these people are safer. Generally, they're not going to Miami on school break. They're not going to huge indoor Trump conventions. They're staying home. And they're living longer. Some of these are dead because of that. Some of these are dead because of that, too. So and old age is going to kick off a bunch from both sides anyway, right? So, and then there's new people being born. Well, they were born 18 years ago, so now they're joining the force too. But the new people, generally younger people, are more left-leaning than right-leaning. So there's more of them over here that just wandered in. Yeah, some of them wandered in over here too. I'm not denying that. But we've got more dead people from this pile, probably. Older people tend to be Republican, vote Republican because for some reason they do. Younger people tend to vote Democratic, left-leaning. So this pile is getting bigger. This pile is getting smaller just due to deaths by natural causes or by COVID or by the number 3 bus being hit by a big fancy limousine. Okay, so the fancy limousine kills the rich guy. The busload of poor people die. They're up there. But yes, there are deaths that are natural or otherwise that the Grim Reaper doesn't care, nor does the coronavirus care. But during the coronavirus thing, we had an election coming up, and voting by mail or voting early was a way to avoid, for one thing, the long lines at a polling place, where if you're been safe and you're afraid of the virus, you don't want to risk getting it by going outside and voting. So here's an easy way to do it. I'll vote by mail. So a bunch of people did, from both parties, voted by mail. But more of these people that voted for Biden down here voted by mail. We've moved our little things down here now. So some of these people are going to vote for Trump because they like their pussies grabbed. They have lots of money in the stock market. They work for Goya. When Trump was doing his infomercial for Goya soup, the Goya people, even this person over here works for Goya. He did that. But this person worked for Campbell's. He's a Republican all his life. He and his worker mates decided, fuck that Goya stuff. I'm going to go with this, Campbell's. So these people are voting for Trump again. These people who mailed in their ballots, didn't die because they went to a political rally, and so they voted over here. And down here, these people that had left this flock come polling day, do you think they went back here? Maybe one or two people whose child was killed in a war. They forgot about his dissing them back in the early days. Maybe one of the people that got laid off by the air conditioner company in Michigan or Illinois or wherever the hell it was, invested his nickel in some stock and it went up, and he's now a multi-billionaire in the stock market. You know this guy's name? Let me know. I'd like to find out his story. I'm just going to pretend that this person exists. So he voted for Trump. But most of these people that were hurt by this guy voted for Biden. So I think in the end of the day, just by what I think is very logical, that more people voted here than voted here. I see that a lot of these people are rich. This guy has 25 times more money than this one does. But anyway, that's fine. I think in the end of the day, more people moved from here, the 2016 here to 2020 here, then moved from 2016 here to 2020 there. Doesn't that make sense to you? Where is my logic wrong? I'm not talking about ballot machines. I'm not talking about ballot machines. I'm not talking about mail-in ballots necessarily. I'm not talking about fraud. I'm just talking about logic. More people were in this pile in 2016. Fewer of them moved over here, and some of these people moved over here. So this pile is bigger. Also, way more people voted this time than voted in previous years, and I think that's great. I think more of them got off their lazy, what had been a lazy, apathetic butt, and saw, just by the COVID nightmare, how many nurses, Republican nurses and doctors that voted Republican all their life, that didn't have stock in Clorox, moved over here? How many patients who recovered from this hoax moved over here? How many children, widows, widowers, orphans, I guess orphans that are young children can't vote, but how many people who lost a member of their family or a good friend or a husband or wife to COVID went over here because of this ineptitude? I stopped all the planes. No, you didn't do a fucking thing. You could have. Wear a mask. Did he say that? No. Has he said that? No. So anyway, tell me where I'm wrong here. I'm curious to know. Bye.